You say we need a change, and I feel that you mean it. You mean it. But you're so right, we're losing track of time, buying things online, and it's not like we need them. We don't need them. So can we just slow down? The only thing I'll do is lay here next to you. We need to slow.
Good almost afternoon to all of you. How are you? By the way, no problem finding this press conference. No problem. Okay? Basically, everybody, their dog, that dog, the dog's uncle are live about this right now. It could be something and it could be nothing. But as we know, a lot of things went down on Tuesday. That's when the car was seized. That's when the FBI was at Annie and Beard's house. Yeah. And they said, we will address this on Thursday. With these press conferences, you never know. We have no idea if they're going to come out and say, we have a suspect, we have an arrest, or they're going to play the hem-haw game and say, can't verify that, can't verify that, can't verify that. So you never know. But let's go ahead and tell everybody, welcome back. Either way, it's going to be very, very interesting. OG Nanny, I'm usually a rewatch. I just want to say thank you so much to whoever gifted me a membership. Oh, that was Sophia. I'm so glad you're here, OG Nanny. I truly am. There are so many generous people around here. I'm getting a little jealous about you guys' Galentine's gifts. I'm like, man, you guys are very, very thoughtful. Put it that way. Okay, so let's go back through this before the news conference. OG Nanny said, best chat on YouTube. I agree. What up, OJ?
Some breaking news now. Today, host Savannah Guthrie has posted a video on social media. This is the first time we're hearing from her and her family. This just came in. We want to share it with you right now. Let's take a listen.
On behalf of our family, we want to thank all of you for the prayers for our beloved mom, Nancy. We feel them, and we continue to believe that she feels them too. Our mom is a kind, faithful, loyal, fiercely loving woman of goodness and light. She's funny, spunky, and clever. She has grandchildren that adore her and crowd around her and cover her with kisses. She loves fun and adventure. She is a devoted friend. She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
The light is missing from our lives.
Okay, this is what got a lot of people. Remember, no one has been accused, no one's been charged, no one, I'm sure they have been questioned quite a few times. Because from what I read this morning, both Annie and her husband were spoken to about exactly what the conversation was going on Saturday. Simple question.
Nancy is our mother. We are her children. She is our beacon. She holds fast to joy in all of life's circumstances. She chooses joy day after day, despite having already passed through great trials of pain and grief. We are always going to be merely human, just normal human people who need our mom. Mama, if you're listening, we need you to come home. We miss you.
I know a lot of people say because she's a poet, she talks that way, but I didn't realize that poets are that bland, I guess, emotionless. I mean, I don't know what the word I should be using. Does anyone find her statement weird? And I don't know who kept telling me in the chat today that Annie and Savannah were holding hands. I've watched this, I can't tell you how many times. Doesn't matter to me either way, they're sisters. I've been watching this the whole time. They're not holding hands. I can clearly see Savannah's hands. And I can see Annie's. Oh, did Savannah have her hand behind her back, holding Annie's hand that way? Oh, what an idiot I am. I see it now. Shit.
Our mom is our heart and our home. She is 84 years old. Her health, her heart is fragile. She lives in constant pain. She is without any medicine. She needs it to survive. She needs it not to suffer. We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. As a family, we are doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk. However, we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that.
Yeah, I see now. Savannah is holding the paper in her right hand, and she's got her left hand behind her back that her sister's holding. Yeah, I see it now. I see it now. Well, good. The poet got her hand held. Too bad that hand didn't iron her damn shirt.
You have her. We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen. Please reach out to us. Mommy, if you are hearing this, you are a strong woman. You are God's precious daughter, Nancy. We believe and know that even in this valley, He is with you. Everyone is looking for you, Mommy, everywhere. We will not rest. Your children will not rest until we are together again. We speak to you every moment, and we pray without ceasing, and we rejoice in advance for the day that we hold you in our arms again. We love you, Mom.
Okay, a lot has gone on. A lot has gone on. Let's get to the press conference.
We got a camera going right there, right across. That's better. Thank you. Thank you. I feel like I can't go in there.
I can't believe the idiots that are going around saying, well, Savannah has the money. Why don't you just kidnap Savannah? Why her mom? Well, I would think it'd be a little harder to get Savannah F. and Guthrie, who lives in a penthouse in New York City with guards from NBC, than her mama, who has the same routine every day.
Don't let anybody else through there. Don't let anybody else through there.
The sheriff's walking. Well, the sheriff can come in here. Yeah. I'm just
Sheriff is walking right through here, so you can't set up in here. I would not set up there. Do not set up there.
maybe on the other side. This is double.
You're all going to get moved. Trust me. We're going to move you.
Okay, I don't want to let you confuse
Thank you.
Lillian. Turn the volume up.
Here. Tell them I'll change the batteries.
They have seriously had all effing week to get this ready. That's it. Okay? They are 6 minutes late. They said on Tuesday they were going to do a press conference on Thursday. So we know they've had at least 2 days to get this ready. Zeltwave said Savannah's hubby, Michael, worked at the White House during the Clinton Gore. Seems he may have a lot of pull to get this resolved. I don't think he's going to need any pull, especially not from Clinton and Gore, because there's nothing that but the president threw his full support behind it yesterday. And it's odd that you mention that, because it has been said that with his connections to Clinton and how tight they are, and the way the Epstein files came out, that it could be some weirdo like that. You know what I mean?
Check 1, 2, 3.
Okay. You see me? Other way, this way. Okay, got it. Yep. Wait, hold on. Which one is it? Yeah. Understood. Understood. Yep.
Hey, you guys, the poll is up. Please let me know what you think. Let's see where we at right now. Who do you think took Nancy? Someone hired for money, 30%. Family, 54%. A stranger, 11%. Other, 7%. I need to hear the other. What is the other? Oakley said if someone hired, then it's probably still done by American. Nancy was in sound mind, correct? So that's not likely she wandered away. No, they ruled that out.
Good. I don't want to say.
Nate, thank you for becoming a new YouTube member. It's because I didn't have the last show muted, waiting on Court TV. Thank you so much. Welcome back. Am I still garbled? Kimberly Mann, we have been praying and praying and praying and praying for you. Can we all take a second and have a drop to our knees, serious conversation with the good Lord above? Because our friend Kimberly needs prayers. All right, they're still milling around, trying to get everything plugged in for the press conference that was supposed to happen 13 minutes ago. Hello, Courtney Michael. How are you? What is going on here? Well, what's up, Sundown Farms? Haven't seen you in a long time. How you been doing? Oh, here we go. Here's a theory. J-Rock said, I think someone killed her and took the body to get rid of the evidence, and all the ransom notes are a scam. Woo! Okay. Whoa, okay.
One interviews today other than what he has already scheduled, okay? If you need something in Spanish, I will do it directly after this. I'll be over here by this flag. Let me know. And other than that, does anyone have any questions specifically to the press conference? Go ahead.
We can ask questions to Otho Keith as well.
Yes, just direct your question to who you want it to, okay? Anyone else? All right, I appreciate your guys' patience. Sorry if I haven't responded to your emails. My name's Angelica. I'm sure I've been communicating with a lot of you guys, okay?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Balance. Anybody? No?
Exactly, Mrs. Pete. Exactly. And it's not like Arizona doesn't know how to put together a press conference, okay? This is for anticipation and anxiety. And guess what? They won. They won. They won this one.
Just in case. Anybody need a white balance? White balance real quick. Who said aye? All right. Good. Anybody else? Good? All right, cool.
OG Nanny, where are you at? You said our schools are out on virtual learning and my grandson is in the next room having school. I can hear his teacher. We were never out for snow. Yeah, I know. That's why I was wondering where you're at. Like, how much snow have you gotten? Susan solved the case on Kat. She said she was in Discord this morning. Thank you. I was just about to call Scotland Yard and get Kat found. Carly with an I said, I'm starting to think it's related to Savannah, but I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of twists and turns going on here.
Yeah.
Be aware that we're gonna try to shoot the things that are on the screen from the.
I will duck.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you. Why don't you stand that side?
Okay. Yeah, I'm not really into being on camera.
Good thing I'm not that tall.
Is that better? Will that be better if you guys can see that? And I'll stay back.
Nope.
Trying not to cover any of these microphones up. Good morning. I hope you've been kind of informed of the rules. That I'm going to try to get as many, if not all of you, an opportunity to ask a question. But last time we tried this, it was just kind of chaotic, people yelling. So I'd ask that you just kind of be patient with me, pay attention to the questions asked, because sometimes you guys want to ask the same question twice, and you're going to get the same answer. So help yourself get what you can out of this. I'm going to give you one question and a follow-up, okay? But before we get there, I do have some comments. First of all, I want to begin by offering our condolences to our partners at the state Department of Public Safety's tragically lost 2 members last night in a helicopter crash up in northern Arizona. So if you keep them in your prayers. Colonel Glover and his team, I'm sure, will greatly appreciate it. Along the same lines, I think you all saw last night, trying to speak up, not yell. Apparently I talk soft. We saw last night the family, they just hurt, understandably so. And so I really want you to know this entire team here, those behind me, and our community are hurting with you. We really just want Mom back. Okay. Right now, we believe Nancy is still out there. We want her home. Our department, the Sheriff's Department, along with all of our partners at the FBI, have been working around the clock. And we just want her home and find a way to get to the bottom of all of this, just as you do. But I have other partners out there who have stepped up, and you've probably noticed them in the last few days, if not the last few hours, and you'll see more of that. I made a decision to contact our PCRIT team, and those of you not local, that's our Pima Regional Critical Incident Team. It's made up of law enforcement officers from this entire valley. Pasco Yaqui Police Department, Tucson Police Department, Marana Police Department, Oro Valley Police Department, Pima College Police Department, Tucson International Police Department, Sarita Police Department, so many of them. And they are going to help us tremendously. And that's really done because we have so much in front of us still, and we're hoping that, I know the FBI has committed a very large number of men and women to partner with us, work side by side with us. We go do an interview, they're going to be there with us. We're going to go look at some evidence or process evidence, they're going to be right there with us. We're sharing every piece of information, all the data we can to get this thing solved. And it's important that my partners in law enforcement know and understand their roles, because it is very large, complex investigation with a lot of moving parts. And we're at that phase now where sometimes we're waiting, right? We're waiting for analysis, we're waiting for lab reports. But even then, when we come back quickly, for example, some DNA, we rushed what we thought was the best target for DNA. We did a rush through and got some of that back. The results were minimal. I think you all know the blood on the porch. That was one we did. It came back to Nancy. That's what we know. But there's still more items that have been submitted. We just haven't got them back yet. But in the meantime, we're not just sitting on our haunches waiting. We do have a number of leads coming in, and that's why we brought in the FBI for one, but PCRIT as well, to be able to get out there and handle these leads as they come in as quickly and as expeditiously as we can. And every single lead is looked at, every one of them. And so we're gearing up. You probably have some questions about what you've seen in the last couple of days. I'll gladly answer those at that time. But it really is about getting our partners out there. To be fair, when we went to that scene the first night, Saturday night, it was just us. Since then, the FBI and others have asked, can we go and see it as well? And that's what you've been seeing. But it is a very important case to not just me and my team, but this entire community, all of our law enforcement partners. Suspects. I know there's been a lot out there about suspects, and I want to be very clear. At this time, we have not identified a suspect or a person of interest in this case. We are working our best to do that. But to be clear, we have nobody of interest or any suspects that you would consider a prime suspect. It's just not there. We're not there yet. The timeline, I think we've got it on the board, do we not? This is a timeline that we have been able to develop with some of the things that we've had processed. Various pieces of electronics that we've gathered. And you look at some of this, and I know you're going to...
Same here, Luana. Same here. I am hoping she is still alive. I am saying positive. Yes, I am too. He's looking like Pinocchio right now. They know who they're looking at. They know they have, I'm not saying someone that's a suspect. I'm not saying someone who is a suspect. But I can tell you right now, they have people they are interested in, as in persons of interest. And I can't do anything about the sound.
Say, well, why did it take you so long to get this to us, Sheriff? Well, because one thing, it's got to go out and be processed at different lab sites. And sometimes that stuff comes back to us. And like you, we have questions. And we say, wait a minute, what is this about? What about this? Could it be that? And so it's sent back or it's sent somewhere else. So, and that's happening with all of the things we see, that process, that review and that questioning of, all right, what is it we're looking at? So I'll go over it with you. You can see it on the board there, but at about 5:32 p.m., these are approximate times. 5:32 p.m., Nancy travels.
Seems to me that someone else or someone's is involved, because he said this is a large, complex case. This is a large, complex case.
To her local family's home for dinner and playing games with the family, just visiting. At 9:48 p.m., which is very consistent to what we were told by the family, that Nancy was dropped off at home. And we know that because we have a garage door open at approximately, I can't stress that enough, at approximately 9:48 p.m. At 9:50 p.m., that garage door closes, which is that time we assume that Nancy's home and probably going to bed. Sunday morning, early morning at 1:47 a.m., the doorbell camera disconnects. At 2:12 a.m., software detects a person on a camera, but there's no video available. They had no subscription, and therefore it would rewrite itself. It just kind of loops, right, and covers up.
Okay, this is important to know. This is important to know. Camera is disconnected. And as far as the smashed cameras, she didn't have the type of subscription to continually record. And that's what he's trying to explain. So either he's blowing smoke up our ass or this is true.
The doorbell camera disconnects. At 2:12 a.m., software detects a person on a camera, but there's no video available. They had no subscription, and therefore it would rewrite itself. It just kind of loops, right, and covers up. That's what our analysis teams have told us. We're not done with that.
Okay, when you have, I'm going to say ADT, okay, ADT. You have different packages you sign up for. I don't know what security system she had, but you have different packages. And I'm not really buying here that she had the cheapo depot one. I'm just not. I think they're stalling with the media. Now me, I'm going to have the cheapo depot. Okay? I'm going to have the cheapo depot. I'm going to have the one that says you can rewrite and rewrite and rewrite and rewrite. I'm not paying all that other. And when you have nesting cameras, they can each have a different subscription. So just remember that. That is one problem I've never had in my life.
Do all we can, but that's what it says. So that detects a person on camera. Could that be an animal? I imagine that's possible. We don't know that. We just have no video, but we're not giving up on that. 2:28, Nancy's pacemaker app shows that it was a disconnect from the phone. And at 11:56 a.m., the family checks on Nancy, discovers her missing, and at 12:03 p.m., 911 is called in to the Pima County Sheriff's Department. I believe it's about approximately 10 minutes later, 12 minutes later, our patrol teams arrive. They see the scene, and we start our response with our search and rescue teams and our detectives from homicide and various units. In fact, every unit here, I think somebody questioned, how come there's an ICAC member out here or this member? Everybody in our criminal investigations team is a part of this team and part of this investigative effort. I think with that, let me make sure.
Yes, I should have simplified that, Cousin Pat. They're talking about the Ring camera that writes itself. She had a lot of different cameras. Cinnamon, we want to know if her cell phone company has released all texts, etc. Has someone been asking for money? They said they're going through phones, plural.
Now, I want to clarify some things that I may have already done, but yeah, I've gone over with the blood at the front door, the doorbell camera. It was removed, we know that, but we're not confirming that any cameras were smashed or destroyed around the house. I don't know where that came from. but that's something we're not confirming. The car, the car that was at the home, it's just standard investigative practices. It's part of the search warrant scene, court orders. We pull it out of there and do our scene processing with the vehicle. Uber,
He's not saying whose car, though. There'd be no reason to take Nancy's car. Why did you take Annie's?
we did speak to a driver because Nancy, we learned, had been taken the Uber to the family residence, the daughter, for dinner. And we located that driver and spoke with them and got that information. The house, you guys got this, I think, conducting follow-up. I think you said somebody had mentioned that they saw a team out there again last night or yesterday, and that's just, again, what I was talking about before. Our partners wanted a chance to see it and examine things themselves, and more importantly, it's just we're constantly following up on things and go, hey, what about this? So we want to go back and check on some things. Oh, here's the other thing. Someone had mentioned there was forced entry. I have no clue where that comes from. We have been very consistent. We are not discussing that at all, whether it's forced entry or not forced entry. That is something we're just not discussing. So I don't know where anybody got that information. I think I am about done with my piece of this. I'm going to bring up here Heath Yankee, and I think you know him if you haven't been here. John Edwards is the assistant agent in charge with the FBI here at the Tucson.
Thank you for bringing that up, Mrs. Pete, because I wondered the same thing. Why would you take an Uber from your house to Annie's when, I mean, it's literally walking distance? So what's going on there? You're telling me that they made sure she got home all snug as a bug in a rug the night that they took her out, but she's been using Uber? She's been using Uber to get around. And that could be part of her independence. Don't pick me up, nothing like that. But they're interviewing Uber drivers. Remember, we've heard she's very strong-willed. So, no, I don't want to be a burden, that type of thing. So she was taking a lot of Ubers. You just said it.
Office, Heath Yankee is the special agent in charge for the state of Arizona out of Phoenix, and he will come up and speak.
Thank you, Sheriff. Hello, I'm Heath Yankee, the special agent in charge of the FBI's Phoenix Division. First, I want to let the Guthrie family know that our hearts are heavy for them. After seeing your message last night, it is clear that you and your family are in pain. Please know that we are doing everything to bring your mother home. The FBI is now working this case jointly with the Pima County Sheriff's Department, and we're going to start today by announcing a $50,000 reward for information leading to the recovery of Nancy Guthrie and or the arrest and conviction of anyone involved in her disappearance. And this will be the missing persons with the reward that will be going out. The FBI has agents, analysts, and professional staff employees working day and night with our partners at the Sheriff's Department. We have deployed additional intelligence and agents from our Phoenix office. We have brought in our critical incident response group from Quantico, Virginia. Members from our cellular analysis survey team are here, and they continue to collect and process digital information. We are actively reviewing and analyzing information from all digital sources, which includes banks, social media companies, phone companies, and any other organizations where a digital footprint could have been captured. All this information provides data points and helps put the picture together. And we will be in the community continuing to conduct a thorough investigation with our partners. You heard about us out there last night. We will be back out there today. I would ask the media, give our investigators the space to do their jobs while they're out there. Next, regarding the ransom letter. We are aware of a ransom letter that was sent to the local media and then to national outlets. As with every lead, we are taking it seriously. We are in communication with the family. And while we advise and recommend from a law enforcement perspective, any action taken on any ransom is ultimately decided by the family. Thank you to those in the community that have called in tips. For anyone out there that may have information, no matter how small you think it may be, please report it. You can do so by calling 1-800-CALL-FBI or online at tips.fbi.gov. My next message is to those imposters who are trying to take advantage and profit from this situation.
Oh, hush. Leave me out of that. I think he slipped when he said that tip line. If you have any information, he said about the family. He didn't say about Nancy. You're very encouraged to call. Did y'all catch that? And what imposters? I would like to know a little bit more about that.
We will investigate and ensure you are held accountable for your actions. We have made one arrest related to an imposter ransom demand, and a complaint will be presented to a magistrate judge later today. You will get more on that from the FBI and our U.S. Attorney's Office here in Arizona when it becomes available. To anyone that may be involved, do the right thing. This is an 84-year-old grandma. This is an 84-year-old grandma that needs vital medication for her well-being. You still have the time to do the right thing before this becomes a worse, much worse scenario for you. Please return Nancy home. Thank you.
All right, so you want to follow me?
You can call up.
Okay, so the first person we're going to start with the list is going to be NBC National, Liz Price. Right here.
Can you walk us through that timeline from when you believe, if you look at this here, from 147 to 228, what you think happened there and what particular software would have detected somebody on camera?
Yeah, I don't. I know we know the software that was there. But I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm just not in the weeds. I know that. Think of your doorbell cameras. Somebody walks up. My wife's. If I walk up, she gets an alert, and it's usually something like that. A person's detected.
So to understand themselves, one, does that mean that it was about a 45-minute span that the suspect or suspects would have been on the property? And then also, does this essentially mean that the cooperator tech companies can officially say that no surveillance video is available?
We know that the tech company that we sent that camera off to, yes, they've said they've run out of ways to recover any video.
Next person's going to be ABC News.
Okay, he's got his ice skates on and he's skating around that question because he already said the cameras were not smashed. And so she's asking, well, then why, when someone approached the house, and he goes, oh, I don't know anything about the software. I don't know anything about the software. Nothing about the software. He goes, but I'm talking about a Ring camera. He goes, like I have, me and my wife. No, but that's the camera that's gone. The Ring cam is gone. Curly with an eye said, this is so strange. It is. Angel P said, someone sent a fake ransom note. What he's saying here, or actually the guy from the FBI, they know who did it and they're going to be prosecuted. So then why was she taken? Or did they get another ransom note? Or another, and another, and another. But the real people that have Nancy, that knew about the inside of the house and what she had on, that could be real. And remember, they said Thursday through Monday.
Yeah. I'm sorry, was what 45 minutes?
Can we say it's about a 45-minute span that somebody would have been on the property then from 147 to 228?
Yeah, I think those times speak for themselves, and it is about, like I say, those are approximates. So yes. I'm sorry, who was next? Did you say?
Hi, Sheriff. Thanks very much. Is there information that you are purposefully withholding because of the active investigation that might be leading you in a particular direction?
You know, this is no different than any criminal investigation that we conduct here. Law enforcement has conducted investigations since 1865 here in Pima County. We're always mindful of what it is that's in front of us and what we should release and can release. There's legal guidelines that guide us, but there's also strategy too. So, you know, I'll leave that for you to determine.
Now that you are having such an injection of manpower from the Pima critical incident team and the FBI, we can slow to bring that in at the outset should all of these resources be brought to bear sooner.
I guess that you know, it's Monday morning quarterbacking. I do it all the time, so you have the opportunity to do it for me. I'll take that hit.
CBS News, Jonathan Vigliotti.
Sheriff over here, has there been any proof of life, and has there been any sign of that?
I'm going to anything to deal with the ransom notes and that I would defer to the FBI, but no, to my knowledge, we're still looking for Nancy.
And for my follow-up.
Okay. This is where I have to play the gong show. Okay. Basically, without saying it, he's saying it without saying it. You have to defer to the FBI because he doesn't know. He goes, as far as I know, we're still just looking for Nancy.
Question if I can speak with the special agent. What was it about this apparent ransom note that now 3 days on you first haven't been able to validate, and second, it warranted informing the Guthrie's of its existence?
So the ransom note that was sent out there, obviously every lead in this case we are taking extremely serious.
But not
Given
everyone is presented to the family. Why this one?
because this was the ransom that came in and it had facts associated with a deadline, with a monetary value they were asking for. So at that point,
Just like I said, this ransom note, and how other of you have said, this ransom note had specific details. This ransom note had a bank account. I'm just using that word to put it in your mind, for a specific amount of money in Bitcoin. Okay. Now, when he's talking about we have imposters, plural, other people have tried the same game. And he said, you will be prosecuted. They don't know who sent this letter. I'm telling you.
FBI, but no, to my knowledge, we're still looking for Nancy.
And for my follow-up question, if I can speak with the special agent, what was it about this apparent ransom note that now 3 days on you first haven't been able to validate, and second, it warranted informing the Guthrie's of its existence?
so the ransom note that was sent out there, obviously every lead in this case we are taking extremely serious.
But not
Given
everyone is presented to the family. Why this one?
because this was the ransom that came in and it had facts associated with a deadline, with a
Exactly. This is the one that they shared with the family because it had facts associated with it and a ransom request. Now, I have a feeling the other letters he was talking about earlier in the press conference, I'm sure had a ransom request, but knew nothing about the situation.
a monetary value they were asking for. So at that point,
What were some of those facts, if you can, because there's been a lot of speculation, as you know, if you could set the record straight.
yeah, the ransom itself, one talked about an Apple Watch and one talked about a floodlight. We're not going to go into specifics. It's very important that we keep this investigation moving forward, and we don't want to put more facts out there that others then can use to try to profit from this.
CNN next, Ed Lavandera.
Agent, I want to follow up.
Okay, so the ransom note mentioned the floodlight, which we've never heard about before. The ransom note also mentioned the Apple Watch, which has actually been talked about on TV. We don't know when they got the ransom note, but as he said, this is the one we presented to the family because it had facts in it. Not someone that's been watching Whitehair here give his press conferences. This person had facts the public doesn't know.
Real quick on that. There have been, as far as we know, I think 3 ransom notes so far, 1 arrest. Are they all different? Do you think there's different authors behind all of them, or?
So the one.
Okay, I don't know if you can hear or not. They said, so you have 3 ransom requests right now. You presented 1 to the family. Already saying you know who the other ones are, the imposters, and you're going to prosecute them. So I want to hear this.
That went to the media is the one we are currently investigating and working on. The imposter that I talked about, where an arrest was made early this morning, that there will be more information. We believe there's no evidence to connect this to Nancy's case. It was someone that was trying to profit from it, a total imposter.
And Sheriff, you started off the press conference by saying we believe that Nancy is still out there. Do you have reason to believe that she's still out there alive, or are you fearful of the worst case scenario here, that she won't be found alive?
Well, I'm certainly fearful of that. I think we all are. But it is we operate from a position that until we know she's out there, she's alive, and we're going to continue thinking that way until we find her.
Fox Digital, Mike Reese.
Yeah, sir. Michael Reese, Fox Digital. Sheriff, you said you've identified no suspects. Have you ruled out anyone she was with on Saturday night?
You know, we've talked to so many. I'm sure that my investigators have feelings about this one's clear or this one isn't. But no, I wouldn't say anybody's ruled out yet, because what if I rule you out and then later I learn something else? No.
So my follow-up, you mentioned that you don't know where the reporting of a forced entry came from. Do we know how whoever did this got into her house?
That I would not discuss with you anyway.
Fox News, Paul Morrow.
Question for Agent Edwards, if I may. Agent Edwards, will the Bureau be submitting the DNA for an investigative genealogical investigation relative to maybe getting relatives involved?
I would say the DNA aspect of this case is being handled by the Pima County Sheriff's Department right now. However, should we get to that point, yes, that would be an option for the FBI to assist.
Just to follow up, does the ransom note that you're working to establish new communication protocols?
No, it does not. And that is what I think is important, that if someone has Nancy and is demanding the ransom, that there is communication with the family. We talked about has been no proof of life, and there was no other demands within that letter. So they're still waiting for communication.
ABC affiliate, Ashley Holden.
We do not have it in our possession. We've not located it.
So we're not going to go into facts regarding this part of the investigation. I think part of that message was with AI these days, you can make videos that appear to be very real. So we can't just take a video and trust that that is a proof of life these days because of the advancements in AI. and trying to actually get a proof of life that we can verify. But we're not going to go into anything the family may or may not have received.
Patterson?
Oh. Oh. Nana Rock said, I'm afraid the kidnappers goofed up and going to have a hard time with the proof of life thing. Sounds to me like they have something, but they have to verify it's not AI. Jana said it's got to be a mean son of a bitch to take an elderly lady for money. It's an inside job, family related, someone holding a grudge. Ooh, we shall see. We shall see. Running Buck, the files are out. Have fun looking at them. They're out. And there's no reason to put that in here.
So, in regards to a timeline on that ransom note, is that being an impact in your investigation? Are we nearing that timeline?
I'm sorry, one more time.
So, in regards to the timeline in the ransom note, are we nearing that timeline? And is that playing a part in the investigation?
We're not going to go again into specifics of that part of the investigation with the ransom note, other than what we've put out there. We've been transparent. We're talking about we are working that ransom demand, but we don't want to go anything further than that could impact any opportunities. So thank you.
Is there any additional physical evidence at the crime scene other than the technology that you guys are using for this timeline? Is there anything else that's helping you guys other than really the technology?
Well, I think I said on day one is that it's technology that's going to really help us solve this case. But no, I mean, you know, we did do a process of that scene for biological evidence. So we're still hopeful that maybe something will show up there as well.
Arizona Republic, Richard Relas.
Agent Youngkin, yes. We saw on the scene, I believe it was you, taking a tripod to the home of the sister. How involved was the FBI, if at all, in creating the video? Any advice for the family?
I would say we use our expertise and provide consultation and advice anytime a family would ask for our advice in a kidnapping. It's ultimately the family's decision of what they put out and any messages they put out. But we were, obviously, you're all documenting every move we make. We were there last night in talking with the family. But every decision is theirs.
Right, that was a tripod. Sure. You said the blood was found on the porch of front stoop. This one is a verified.
I say porch, front stoop. It's all in that same general area by the front door. Front door, yes.
What, given her medical condition and the fact this wasn't blood, as you say, what was her medical condition? With her recovery with later
Well, again, I've got to be careful for HIPAA, but I would say this. We know she is in need of medication, daily medication. And we also know that this is day 4 or 5 and still we don't know that she's getting her medication. That could in itself prove fatal.
No, that's a question. For KGUN News, we have Craig Smith or Athena.
Craig?
KGUN, Athena.
Oh, okay.
Have you been anyone? Never.
You know, it goes back to what we talked about. Nobody's eliminated, but we just really don't have enough to say, this is our suspect, this is our guy, we know, or our gal. We just don't know that. And it's really kind of reckless to report that someone is a suspect when they could very well be a victim. It just, I bring to you, to the media.
Woo! Woo! Leak in the Hoover Dam. He's like, you know, it's just irresponsible to say someone's a suspect when they could be a victim. We know who he's talking about. He said, guy, could be a gal. Okay. Could be both. We don't know. And he's right. It is reckless. It is reckless. But obviously, Plaidfield's sponsors felt it to be important to put out. I mean, truly. And trust me, News Nation is running with it too, and everybody else. And don't think they haven't made the phone calls to verify what they're reporting.
I plead with you to be careful of what it is we put out there, because we don't have anybody here listed as a suspect, and you could actually be doing some damage to the case, but you can do some damage to that individual too. Social media is kind of an ugly world sometimes.
And how far out have you expanded your search?
You know, I would tell you this, look, nothing's off the table. If we get a lead that there's somebody, hey, you've got this over here or over here, we're going, and that will expand and expand and expand. I think the FBI with their billboards, they're now planning to put those up at every state around here, at all of our neighboring states. So we use you, the national media, the FBI with their national outreach to affect that for us. But
okay, let's talk about billboards for an 84-year-old woman who can't walk more than 50 feet. Okay, I got really pissed off when they were comparing Nancy Guthrie's abduction to Elizabeth Smart. You see, Nancy Guthrie has a pacemaker. She's on maintenance medications. She takes certain pain medications because she is in pain. And she has mobility issues. Mobility, okay? So, put up all the billboards you want. She's not out walking around. I mean, it's great, but I mean, at this point, it's virtue signaling. It really is. You're not going to find her hitching a ride.
As far as the actual investigation, naturally the scene is the primary, and we just keep spreading it out as we get more and more leads.
Court TV, Cody Thomas.
Sure. Actually, my question is for Agent Yonke. You know, we saw Savannah Guthrie and her sibling family put out a video last night on Instagram addressing, you know, the tragedy that it is, but also addressing the ransom letter saying they're ready to talk. My question is, did the FBI or any other agency help them craft that message to put out on social media?
Like I said to the previous question, we have an expertise when it comes to kidnappings. And when families want advice, consultation, expertise, we will provide that. But the ultimate decisions on what they say and how they put that out rests with the family itself.
As far as suspects, I know we haven't identified one, but what type of suspect or suspects do we think we're dealing with here?
At this time, like the sheriff has said, there is no primary suspect identified, so it could run the gamut. So,
KPNX, Troy Hayden.
Are you actively investigating the son-in-law in this case? There were reports earlier this week that refuted that. You said you haven't eliminated everybody. Have you eliminated him or come close to it, or are you actively looking at it?
We're actively looking at everybody we come across in this case. Everybody. We would be irresponsible if we didn't talk to everybody. The Uber driver, the gardener, the pool person, whoever, everybody. It's so cliche, but everybody's still a suspect in our eyes. That's just how we look at things and think as cops. Does that mean we have a prime suspect? No, and the family's been very cooperative. They've done everything we've asked of them, and we want that relationship to continue. And sometimes people can be mean out there, and that can really harm us and harm our efforts.
Did you find blood anywhere else?
Yeah.
I agree, Lindsay. I think they already know. And the more virtue signaling that goes on, you know, prayer vigils, flyers, billboards, things like that, you know, do whatever you want to do. Sell t-shirts, hand out bracelets, you know, just do whatever you want to do. But I think they already know what happened. and I put the timeline up for 2 days in a row. They went from 1 in the morning till 4 in the morning, then got it narrowed down, and it's a real tight timeline now. I think they know, but they're just waiting for that last thing.
The only DNA evidence we got back is on the porch. We prioritize things and we rush things, and those items we put out to a lab to rush it. And even then it's 2, 3, 4 days. The other items could take 10 days, 20 days, but we saw the importance of that blood. It came back to Nancy.
So it was only there, it wasn't anywhere else in the house?
I don't know that. We processed the house for biological evidence, and we've not gotten anything back.
Newsmax, Sarah Williamson.
Hi there. My question is just piggybacking off our colleagues here about how far this search has gone. When it comes to doorbell cameras, you say technology plays a critical role in this. Have you been actively drawn off with the neighbours and businesses and collecting those doorbell cameras? And is there anything that has come up there? How far?
I can't tell you whether things have come up or not, but we have door-to-door. I think we're still doing door-to-door, not just in that neighborhood, but other neighborhoods. Just as leads come in and take us somewhere, we're going to do those things.
Okay, and just to follow up as well in regards to the video that was released by Nancy Guthrie's children last night, just to clarify, that was not coordinated with any law enforcement beforehand, and that you hadn't seen that video before it was released?
The FBI is handling all things with the ransom.
I think the answer was yes, we were there. The media was there. We can help coordinate, provide that consultation.
I knew it. The minute the sheriff threw his hands up and he was like, no, the FBI. Did you know they were going to make this video? Oh, yeah, we were there. We were there. We put it out.
But that is the family's decision of what they film and what they put out.
Fox 10, Justin Liu.
Agent Yankee, this one's for you. Following up on that video that was released yesterday, it said, ultimately any further action is decided on by the family. Since then, have they expressed any more interest in more efforts to try and get in contact with who is behind the ransom letter? And do you have a crisis or any sort of hostage negotiator with your team for that type of situation if it moves forward?
So the two parts of that question I think it's pretty clear. The family wants to be contacted. They know time is of the essence. And if those that may have Nancy are watching this, the family is ready to talk, get proof of life, because there has been no contact after that ransom note went to the media. For your second question, yes, we have crisis negotiators. That is part of our team here locally, along with the personnel we brought in from Quantico, and they will be part of it. But we're not going to go beyond that of any specifics.
Sure. Now, taking down the crime scene perimeter after Monday's investigation and really opening access to that property to everyone else, was that something you would do differently looking back, knowing that federal authorities also conducted a search yesterday? Would you have kept that perimeter up, knowing that?
Monday morning quarterback, I probably would have, but I'll say this. We processed the scene. We got what we thought was complete. My team did that. I have to have all the faith and trust in their ability.
Oh, that girl said possibly a coworker of Savannah's who's very jealous of her for one reason or another. Well, it better not be Craig Melvin, because I really enjoy watching him on the Today Show. I really do. Now, Hoda left recently, and there was a huge falling out, and obviously they're going to keep Savannah over her. I don't see Hoda picking up Nancy Guthrie, but then you can always go back to all those people that sleazebag Matt Lauer was harassing.
And their skills, and I think they went through that pretty well. But because,
or it could be that Jenna Bush Hager, Savannah wasn't, she wasn't quiet about how she was just given a job at 30 Rock. She wasn't shy about her, you know, when Jenna was given segments. Could be Jenna Bush Hager.
As another agency now steps in and wants to assist, if we're just like with you, we're an open book. Absolutely. How can we help? One of the things people don't see, I heard your question about, you know, and we left and then others could walk up. You know, when we process a scene and we're done, we return that scene to in this case, the homeowners, the family. And we don't just go march back in there. We call the family again and get permissions to go back to the home. So yeah, there's, again, Monday morning quarterback, absolutely. I probably could have held off on that. We knew the FBI. We've worked with them before in a lot of cases, and we felt like they could be of help in this with particularly the forensic analysis we use in a number of things. But we, at the start of this thing, we weren't sure what we had. And as the day progressed, we realized that there could be more to this. And we started in that. Remember, it was a search and rescue mission the first few hours. And we transitioned that over to a criminal investigation. With that, brought in our partners from the FBI and others.
Univision, Claudia Ramos. Univision, Claudia
I was
Ramos.
actually going to ask about that. We saw the message yesterday.
Are you next?
Claudia, yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Univision. Following up on that, saw the message from the president yesterday. Have you personally received any communication from him or?
No, and I wouldn't expect that. He too is a busy man, right? And I would say this: we thank him for him. His entire law enforcement team was put out yesterday, and we know, you know, I know my local reporters here know we've always worked well with all of our partners in law enforcement. Maybe it's something unique to Southern Arizona, and the rest of the country doesn't see that, but this isn't new for us. We've done this. Gabby Giffords, I headed up that investigation many years ago, and we worked side by side. Could not have got things done if we weren't with the FBI on that.
And just the other question, this being a border state, have you guys had any communication with Mexican authorities?
I have not. I work closely with the Mexican consulate as other consulates, being the sheriff, but no, I've not heard from them.
Arizona, Univision, Manris.
Hi, Sheriff. My question is, do you know, it's a two-part question, do you know what medication Nancy uses? And have you checked the local pharmacies or pharmacies around the state where they bought, per se, this medication to keep her alive, to keep her healthy while still work with her?
So we do know what medications, and we have contacted pharmacies. Probably need to go back to just make sure that they didn't. Maybe we contacted them early on. I know that night, Sunday night, Saturday night, Sunday morning. I know we were doing all the hospital checks, and that check was continuous every hour, going back out and physically in person. Deputies were going to each local area hospital and asking them to check their logs.
My second question here is, I know you're looking for her in Pima County. Are you looking for her across the state now? And so if there's a particular area that you're focusing on right now?
Well, we're looking for her everywhere, right? The FBI just made an arrest on a tip that we got that we thought there could be something here. There's it's statewide. The billboards are going to be out there across the country. We take leads from everywhere, and where those leads take us, we'll get there.
MS Now, Alex Tabet.
Any reason to believe that Nancy Guthrie may be being held outside of the country? Is that something that you ruled out at this point?
We don't have any of that information. We haven't ruled anything out. Like the sheriff said, we will follow the facts wherever they take us, whether it is outside of the state of Arizona or over the border. We will follow the facts and go there. But we have no indication anything over the Mexican border.
And you mentioned on the ransom note there were details about the Apple Watch and the floodlight.
Yep.
The ransom notes that were sent out to TMZ, KGUN, and KOLD. Are they all the same ransom note? Do they contain the same details? Each of those individual ransom notes?
The ones that I am tracking and aware of were the same that went to TMZ also.
News Nation. question, Brian Enton.
Agent Young, sorry.
Yes.
When did the first ransom note arrive? And the reason I ask is because the Apple Watch has been in the news on social media, and you can see like floodlights on video. So was it before those things were out in the world?
I don't have the specific time frame as I sit here today of what time it came in, but that you are right. Anyone could see a floodlight hanging down, could have seen some of those things. The watch has been talked about, so that timing is tricky, but that's why we're taking it serious no matter what, and following the leads on that. But I don't have the time frame that the first note came in as I sit here today. Thank you.
And my follow-up to the sheriff. In the house, were there any signs that someone tried to clean up or maybe destroy evidence?
I can't talk about the crime scene, so I'll give you another shot, another question.
My other question is, I heard the agent say that it was a joint investigation now. At the other press conference, the FBI said they were assisting. Is it joint now? Your own agency in charge?
Look, there's no ego here. We in this part of the country, we'll take anybody's help. It's not about who's in charge. From day one, when we contacted the FBI, they were that gracious to say, whatever you need. And so that's really it. And they're great partners, just as my other local law enforcement brothers there. I didn't even have to ask. That's what's really amazing.
Yeah, we know how the FBI works. I've been alive for more than a minute. V. Oakley said, not everyone has an Apple Watch. The ransom note writers could be real. Remember, they have 3. They presented one to the family saying, and there's no reason for them to entertain them with this if they know it's full of shit. Okay, so on their video yesterday, they said, and we're aware of a ransom note. Today in this press conference, they say there's more. There's more. And those people we prosecuted. This one had facts in it. And I don't know the facts of what was in the letter because they're not putting it out. But someone is going to have to get them some Bitcoin real quick to get Nancy back, or they're going to have to trace down where the ransom note came from.
I haven't had to call anybody. They've called me. Sheriff, what do you need?
Arizona's family, Brianna Whitney.
Sheriff, I know you had the crime scene process. You said you went back out there. Your partners wanted to see it, but you guys were actively taking out evidence yesterday. Was there something you missed the first time, or did you get a piece of information that led you to believe you needed to go back out and take more than you had that first day?
I know that we get information that will come, and this is just any crime scene that we look at. We may go out to a crime scene and think we.
Rita said, ransom writers did not give any direction for communication and no second note as of yet. This is true. This is true. And only one has hit the media with specific details. And the other 2, those people are going to be prosecuted.
Got it all. Go analyze the evidence, and something comes back and says, hey, did you check this? We're not going to just say, oops, and not go. Absolutely. In this instance, it really was the FBI just wanted to go, hey, can we take a look at it?
Are you worried about that being contaminated at all because there was people in?
I'll let the courts worry about that. We will certainly be open to the courts of anything that's been removed from that house, and we follow the rules of laws. We get court orders and go back and reapply for another warrant if need be. All of those things we're very careful of.
Arizona Public Media, Lynn Boyd.
Ellen Boyd over here. In that news release yesterday, there was a report of the trespassers. Has the Guthrie family dealt with any incidents, threats, whether that's trespassing, social media threats, anything like that?
I am not aware of any of that. I know that we, as with any case, again, we would look at all of the background of calls to those families or their residents and see if there's anything there, or even in that neighborhood. Those things have been looked at. I don't know of anything that was reported in even the last 30 days or 60 days. Nobody's come to me and said, hey, next door you had a burglary.
Follow up for the neighbor bug or home can you give any more details on that trespassing?
I don't have them.
Telemundo, Jesus Gonzalez.
For the FBI, I just have a question. Can we confirm if the FBI director is coming to investigation?
Yes, Director Patel is being briefed several times a day on this investigation back in DC. He does have a trip scheduled to Tucson that was pre-scheduled before this, but he is receiving consistent and constant updates from our team here. He is not coming today.
And before you go to the next one, I know you may have had a follow-up question, but I think I overstepped you. So if you wanted to ask, I'll give you that opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
At what point not credible there is no communication that follows up to what's that timeline to say? No proof of life, there's no more.
I think we start to look at what the deadlines were in the note. First, I think was 5 o'clock today, and then it had a second deadline after that. So we are continuing in a normal kidnapping case. There would be contact by now, trying to discuss that. But those are the timeframes we're looking at as we move forward. I don't have that with me right now.
Entertainment Tonight, Danny Fresco.
Yes, my question actually is for there was reports that said there were ransom payments that was actually
Nothing that I can release. Thank you.
and then
Nothing I can release. Thank you. But I have to say thank you to Rita R64 with that awesome lion avatar. She is now part of the family. Can we all welcome Rita R?
also, there's also conflicting reports about who was the last person to actually see Nancy and drive her home. We know she took an Uber to Annie's house, but can you confirm whether it was Annie or her son-in-law Tommaso who took her home that night?
I think the timeline that the sheriff provided was a family member, but
Just family. We're going to go with family.
Record TV, Vandre Fiera.
Sir, we are for national, so we're not familiar with.
Straightforward question. Who brought her home? We were told Beard or Annie. And he said, we're just going to go with family. That's it. We're just going with family. They're still not saying, no matter what the media says, what they report, this is official. This is from law enforcement. FBI put, the sheriff up saying, you can answer this. He said, we're just going with family. He was not about to say who actually dropped her off. And that is problematic. Okay? If it was cut and dry, it would be 9:45, Annie dropped her off, got her in the house. But he's like, we'll just leave it at family. Not going to confirm any of that.
Seems that it's a remote area. So my question is, why is it so hard to track a car or something suspicious that have passed through the area at that time? How difficult it is, because probably cameras around or something.
Yeah, you're talking about the challenges we face in some of being in a rural area like this. Those are face all the time. We'd love it to have all the cameras in what we would consider a more urban nature type area. But once you get out into the community, that's not the only part of Tucson that is that way. And we just find ways to overcome those challenges. We don't just disregard it. We still look at ways to find for example, Ring cameras that might catch just a piece of something, goes catch the car, those kinds of things. We don't give up. We still go out.
At least a car that came out
I
at the night.
I
Far
keep
away, like miles from the house.
We have cameras all over and those things are being reviewed.
Arizona Republic, Richard Rulas.
I'm a different person, but pretend.
Did he get two?
It's the second one.
Was that you?
Oh, sorry.
No.
We all right. All right. Thank you guys for keeping us honest. No, you already asked your question, so we're gonna go to the New York Times with Reese. And I apologize for getting your name wrong here, Reese Evil.
Woo! We're going to the New York Times. Damn.
No, you're close.
Tebow.
Hi, Sharon.
Hi.
The 212, the camera that detected movement at 212, was that a different camera than the one that was disconnected at 147, and where was it pointed?
We don't know that. We don't know which camera that was. That when we did the software, it just told us that the person was detected. But I'm unaware of which camera that was.
So there were multiple cameras and you're not sure?
Sure, there were multiple cameras at the home.
Okay. And is there a possibility that this is not a ransom situation? And if so, what else could it be?
Your guess is as good as mine. I would say absolutely there's a possibility that this is nothing to do with the kidnapping. But we cover all angles. We're not going to dismiss something until we actually know for a fact that it's one way or the other.
People Magazine, we have Danielle Walker.
So I wanted a little more clarity to follow up on his. Is there anything more you can say? Was this actually targeted or not? Do you have any?
That's why we have the FBI to look at those areas where there may have been a target. Maybe it is a kidnapping. But no, we don't have anything to rule that out or to say it is.
And as far as the ransom notes, there was a part in there about Bitcoin. Are you looking into that now, investigating?
Yes, that's part of the investigation.
Can you go and elaborate any further if you found anything or if there's any ties or any suspects tied to that Bitcoin?
There is not at this time.
Associated Press.
Not at this time. They got the big boys there. They got New York Times. They got Associated Press. They got People Magazine. I mean, they got everybody asking questions. They got News Daddy there. They got everybody asking. Yeah, they're being vague. They're being super vague. And I'm just like Jana. I want to read that ransom note. Because remember, they've had more than one. But this is the only one they're investigating.
So Joe Goldendera.
Hi, Sheriff. Just to follow up to a
You're
prior-
Joe?
I'm sorry.
You're Joe?
Goldendera.
Oh, I thought you said Joe. Okay.
Just to follow up to a prior question, you had said early in the investigation that authorities don't believe Nancy Guthrie was targeted. Why don't authorities think that Nancy Guthrie was targeted?
Who said that?
You had said that early in the investigation.
Boy, if I said I missed, I absolutely misspoke. I've never thought she was or wasn't targeted. We've always believed that is certainly a possibility. I mean, you'd be silly not to think that. Somebody disappears in the middle of the night out of their home. You can understand where I'm coming from. But no, if I said that, obviously I misspoke or maybe somebody misheard me. But I've never believed that she was or was not a target.
Is there anything more specific you can say about what you believe at this time?
Motive's always going to be a question, and we'll know more as we go what that motive is. But right now, my guesswork.
Ding, 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 ding. Sister Karen said, if there's a ransom note, wouldn't that tell you she was targeted? 100%. They're just not going to say. Please hit that like button.
Is as good as yours.
And then we also have the final one will be from KVOA here in Tucson, Monica Garcia.
Okay, so let's talk about that 5 p.m. You say 5 p.m. deadline today. Is that the deadline? I believe that's for FBI.
Yes.
Can you just give us some sound on that? Because that's a big deal. That's within hours about that 5 p.m. deadline per the ransom note.
We are.
And then what's supposed to happen after that?
So the ransom note that was distributed to the media did make a demand for 5 p.m. today. And if a transfer wasn't made, then I think a second demand was for next Monday. We're not going to go beyond that. What the media received.
Did it indicate what would happen if they didn't meet that ransom? Did they?
We're not going to go into those specifics. Thank you.
5 p.m. Eastern, I'm sorry, I know it's not Arizona. It's 5 p.m.
I don't.
Okay, so they want the money and they keep talking about this ransom note. So obviously it is legitimate. Obviously that is their main lead. Obviously they are working on this because they already debunked, as Lisa K. Ruitt says, the other 2 ransom notes they got. But this one is real because they gave it to the family and they confirmed, as I said, the facts in the ransom note. Something that only someone that has been in the house would know. Okay? So they have till 5 p.m. today. The sheriff doesn't know what time zone. And then they'll give them a little grace period to get their Bitcoin around and get it to their bank.
5 p.m.
And then, sorry about that, Inside Edition, Jim Murray.
Special Agent Yoki, given the fact that the FBI participated in the creation of this family video, does that suggest your belief that the author or authors of that ransom note, in fact, have Nancy Guthrie?
Again, we're taking the ransom note serious and we are following that part of the investigation.
And does the fact that there is a ransom note suggest to you that Nancy Guthrie was taken specifically because she's Savannah's mom?
There's nothing to indicate that.
Thank you guys so much for all of your questions. The sheriff does have just one more note about what happens next year, or what doesn't happen next.
Well, it's what happens for us is we're going to continue working. For you though, I hope this worked out well for you. But right now I have no plans to schedule any further press conferences unless we have some real evidence or something to bring up to you. It's pretty pointless to just keep hounding the same things over and over. And as Special Agent in Charge Yankee said, please give us some space, and that's not just physical space. Give us some space, give my team some time, because these things do take time and they are difficult. And everybody out there is really working hard. And mistakes are going to be made. And if I made them, mea culpa, it won't be the first mistake I've ever made. But more important than me is we want Nancy back. That's the key. Okay. So thank you very much. And thank you for your concern in this.
Thank you. If you were looking for the other person that was up here, it was John Edwards, Joned.
All right. So they're saying there will not be another press conference unless something major happens. They're working on this ransom note. I'm just giving you clip notes, give it to you in a shell. And they presented one ransom note to the family. And as I said, it has nothing to do with Savannah Guthrie. There's no indication, they said. Their verbiage always says everything to me. Not at this time. Not at this time. No indication. So, I mean, we shall see. We shall see. But either way, they believe that Nancy Guthrie is still alive. And they will not do another press conference unless there's some kind of breaking news. So that's the press conference. And I will see you all back here tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time. And they wouldn't even answer. The FBI wouldn't answer. The sheriff wouldn't answer. What time is the ransom supposed to be with the kidnappers. Kidnapper, kidnappers. It says 5 p.m. Is that Pacific, Mountain, Central, Eastern? Is it somewhere in a different part of the country? We don't know. Either way, this is absolutely crazy. And I'm so glad you guys were here to watch this with me.